Every single week you're losing 20 plus hours. Not because you're lazy, not because you're not working hard enough, but because of something else you're not doing. But you can easily get that time back. And you don't have to slow down your business to do it. You just need to build one habit. And anytime I've helped my clients build it, they've closed $1 million deals or added $15,000 a month to their income whilst working less. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what the habit is and how to implement it immediately. Let's dive in. Most entrepreneurs don't even realize where their time is going. I had a client once, let's call him Mark. Mark was making great money, okay? He was making about $50,000 a month, but he was drowning. He had calls, emails, last minute fires. His entire day was just reacting to problems instead of solving them before they even started. He worked 10 to 12 hours a day, but at the end of the week, he felt like he got nothing meaningful done. Sound familiar? You see, most entrepreneurs believe that if they just work harder, they'll make more progress. But that's a lie, because it's not about how hard you work. There's plenty of entrepreneurs out there working 12-hour days and making zero progress. How? Well, it's because effort cannot create progress, it can only accelerate it. Like if you imagine a super simple system where progress is your output, effort is your input. If you're not getting the output you want, more input does not change the output, it only exaggerates it. So really, it's about how much of your work actually moves the needle. Right now, you're spending way too much time on things that don't matter. You're saying yes to low-value meetings, you're answering every message immediately, you're reacting to everyone else's priorities instead of enforcing your own. It's like trying to win a race, but instead of running in a straight bloody line, you're stuck weaving through a crowd, dodging people left and right. No matter how fast you can run, you'll never win because their path you're on as well, it's broken. This is why top entrepreneurs don't just manage their time, they guard it like their life depends on it. Now let me ask you this rather random question, but it will make sense, okay? If a thief, a robber, a burglar, whatever you want to call them, broke into your house every single day and stole, 20% of your money, how long would you let it happen before you did something about it to stop it? A week? A day? 5 minutes? Now, think about this. Your time is worth more than your money because you can always get more money. You can always make more. You're pretty good at making money, right? But time, once it's gone forever. Yet most entrepreneurs let their time get stolen every single day. Stolen by distractions, stolen by interruptions, stolen by things that should never have been on their calendar to begin with, stolen by things that do not matter. And it all comes down to one reason. You don't have a system for controlling your time. You let other people's requests, last-minute asks, and unnecessary tasks, guided by your desire for ease and comfort, dictate your schedule. Meanwhile, the top entrepreneurs, the ones who are scaling the fastest whilst working the least, they do one thing differently. They install a protective system around their time, one that automatically filters out distractions, time wasters, and low-value tasks. And if you don't have this system, it doesn't matter how productive you try to be. You're always going to be drowning. You'll always feel like you never have enough time in the day. So what is the system? Well, it's not just time management, that fancy term. It's not just better planning. And it's definitely not just working harder. Although all those things have their place, they're all useful tools to have in your arsenal, okay? This thing that is going to help is a single habit that once built will instantly eliminate 80% of the things eating away at your time, and I've kept you waiting long enough. That habit is boundaries. Now, most people think boundaries just means, saying no to people, but first off, most people can't even do that, and it's something I struggle to do myself, and I've had to work really hard at it. But saying no, well, that's just one small part of boundaries. To truly protect your time, you need 3 things. So let's break them down. Pre-decisions. So have you ever walked into a grocery store hungry? You don't make good decisions. You end up buying random junk that you don't need because you're making the decision in the moment based on your fleeting emotions. Well, you're likely doing the same thing with your time. You wake up and react, saying yes to everything, jumping from task to task, drowning in busy work. This is why top performing entrepreneurs don't decide in real time. They pre-decide what gets their attention so that they never have to waste mental energy and create decision fatigue debating what to do. So, for example, if a meeting doesn't have a clear agenda, you don't take it. If there's no clear reason or purpose behind the meeting, why on earth are you doing it? If a task isn't directly tied to revenue growth or scalability, you delegate or eliminate it. Like, why are you doing it if it doesn't serve that purpose? If someone wants to pick your brain, you have a pre-written response that shuts it down, at least in a nice way, right? Think of your days like you're like setting up a GPS before a road trip. If you don't decide the route ahead of time, you'll constantly get lost, stopping every 5 minutes to figure out where you're going. And this is actually why I recommend planning your days in the likes of a pocket notebook, because if people have access to your Google Calendar, whether it's, team members, clients, whoever it is, it's very easy to just go along with everything that's on that calendar. But by planning your day on paper, you have to take everything scheduled on your Google Calendar and sort of audit it. You're much more likely to realize, okay, I don't need to do that meeting or that call or whatever it is, and then you can drop it. So you can use your planning time as also like an audit or a filter for what actually needs done. You can easily save hours every week simply by making these pre-decisions, deciding in advance how you're going to spend your time and what rules you're going to set for what you accept. The art of saying no without feeling guilty. Most entrepreneurs say yes out of an underlying sense of fear. Fear of either missing opportunities, fear of letting people down, fear of seeming unavailable. But the harsh reality is that every yes you give is a no to something else. If you say yes to an unnecessary meeting, you're saying no to a deep work session that could over time compound and 10x your revenue. If you say yes to a task that you don't need to do, you're saying no to having more freedom. So see, anytime you're about to say yes out of like a feeling of obligation, pause. Ask yourself, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? The key here when you're saying no is to create mental frameworks and decision filters in your mind that allow you to accurately see what is going to benefit you in, moving you towards your goals, but also if you actually want to do it. Okay, we don't want to just say yes to everything. You want to guard your time, protect it. If it's something like, there's that classic sort of framework where if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Okay, live by that. If it's not going to move you towards your goals and you do not want to do it, if you're not saying hell yes, I want to do this, and if it does not move you towards your goals, say no. Okay, and if you do it in a nice way, nobody actually really minds. Okay, ruthless elimination. Now imagine you're an Olympic sprinter, maybe not Usain Bolt, but you're someone pretty fast, right? But someone hands you a 25 kilo or 50 pound for you Americans backpack before your race. No matter how fast you can run, you're going to lose that race. That's what happens when you carry useless tasks in your schedule. Those tasks that you've somehow picked up over time and now you just do them because you think you have to, you think they create progress, but in reality they don't do anything to move the needle. Or those tasks that you've convinced yourself matter, but don't actually matter. Or those tasks that you do, but you do not have to do, and you just don't want to give them to a team member, or you don't want to outsource them or something like that. What you need to do is audit all your tasks, okay? Write down every single task you did in the past week, and I mean every single one, every email you replied to, every sales call you took, every piece of content you created, every bit of admin work, write it all down. And firstly, if you cannot do this, if you don't know how you spent your time in the past week, that is your first problem, because you cannot improve how you spend your time if you do not know how you're spending it, okay? So if you can't do this, that's actually your first step, is to figure out how you're spending your time and start tracking it, okay? Once you have these tasks written down, put each of them into a category. Revenue generating, so this is the likes of sales calls, content, because content drives traffic, or creating a marketing campaign, etc. Anything that leads to cash. Second category is scalability. This is the likes of creating systems, fixing bottlenecks, optimizing offers and fulfillment vehicles, or creating automations, etc. Anything that disconnects the proportional relationship of your effort and results. The third category is maintenance. This is any work that needs done but doesn't actually grow the business. It just needs done. The likes of admin, emails, customer support, etc. Now, what you'll find is that not every task goes into those three categories. If a task does not generate revenue, if it does not help scalability, if it does not maintain the business, it needs to be eliminated. Because if it doesn't serve any of those three purposes, you do not need that task. It is quite literally pointless, okay? So cut it from your schedule immediately. Then with all the tasks that fall into those three categories, any of the maintenance work should be automated or delegated if possible. If you can't automate or delegate it for whatever reason, maybe you're a solopreneur or whatever your reason is, you need to set a boundary that you only do those tasks in a set time period. For example, only between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. You do not touch those tasks outside of that time. Now, your revenue generating and scalability tasks can also potentially be delegated as well. You know, sales calls can be given to sales reps, okay? Creating sales page copy for your new sales page, your new offer, whatever it is, that can be outsourced to a copywriter. Now, when you do all of those 3 steps, when you make a habit of setting boundaries through pre-decisions, saying no, and elimination, you free up so much time, but you also scale faster because you now have more mental bandwidth and energy to dedicate to your important tasks, those revenue generating and scalability tasks that move the damn needle, that actually contribute to growth. Now, of course, you're also going to have to learn how to be productive if you want to reclaim 20+ hours a week, because if a 1-hour task takes you 3 hours, that's an issue. So watch this video here if you want to make 2025 the most productive year of your life.